Henry, Henry, Henry.
Okay, now let's everybody give this great man, this wonderful, phenomenal, amazing man, the standing ovation he deserves.
Yeah, Henry. Woo!
He brings a chair, an empty chair, onto the dance floor, and he dances at, with, and around the chair. He's doing all these things, and he's spinning and twirling, and like everybody's standing around, and they're like leaving the room, and they're sheltering the children. They're getting the children out of the room. Arv, we miss you. We love you.
Love that.
And Henry, I know if you were here, you'd be laughing.
You know, I met Henry our sophomore year in high school at the famous Wulster parties on Brookside Avenue. He was always a stand-up guy. He never backed down from anything. And he was the same way on the football field. He rose to the occasion on a number of times. And the classic one was our 1976 state championship game at the brand new Giant Stadium at the time in Rutherford. And we lost that game, unfortunately, 7-6. But Henry had something like 17 tackles in that game. He lived his life with kind of a gusto and a stand-up, and I'm going to fight for things in life. Henry decides, Pete, let's get in the car and go hunting in Harriman State Park. At 2 o'clock in the morning, next to no gas in my father's car. So Henry's like, no problem, just siphon it from my mother's car. And Mrs. Wulster comes out and is like, Pete, what the hell are you doing? He was my hero at the end, and it was a true testament to how he lived his life. And I say thank you, Henry. Rest in peace, dude. We love you.
When I was younger, he used to tell me that he was going to keep me in a cardboard box so that I could never grow up. And I told him, I said, I wish I could keep you in a cardboard box so that life could not take you from us. I still feel that way, but I feel so blessed that we have all had the time that we did with him. I feel so blessed that he has passed on so much of his love and dedication to his family. And thank you, Mark, for everything that you've left behind and that we will continue to carry with us forever. So.
Henry referred to me as Dick, because that's what my high school friends called me. And I met Henry because my high school friend, Bob Zorn. To Bob, thank you for introducing me. There's no crime in baseball. That movie, Master and Commander, had come out, and that's how he referred to me, as the Commander. He went to the closing ceremonies at the Olympics, and he loved it. It was really a magical period of time. Then we stayed in touch for the next 24 years. And we only saw each other maybe 10 to 12 times. We were on the same page. It was like he said, Dad, my hero. Dad.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Dad.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Honestly, he was my hero because I wish I could have had all the talent he had. And that's what he was. He was committed. He was committed to Brady. He was committed to his family. All of that. But in football, whatever he did, he was committed. He looks better in a casket than I looks alive. Dude, I mean, how does he once again, he wins again. He's a better looking actor. Most mothers really love their children in whatever manner. But it's not until you have the impact of other women in your life that a man becomes whole. And when Henry went out into the world, he went out into the world whole because he had his sisters. Thank you.
Back to when I was about 17, my mom's leaving for the weekend, and she said something about, if there's no adult here. So she leaves, I'm supposed to be staying at like Aunt Trish's or something for the night, and I call up Parker and I said, hey, dude, I need an adult. I need an adult to chaperone this party, right? This party that my mom still doesn't know about. 60 people there, right? Like this party just gets out of control. And he opens my bedroom door and he sees one of my friends with 2 girls in there. And Harv says, hey dude, out of the bedroom. So he walks out, he goes, hey buddy, listen, you got a great body. I wish I had your body. But you can't be up in the bedrooms, all right? I'm chaperoning this thing. About an hour later, and I'm downstairs, and I'm looking around, and there's like, dude. I'm like, where did all the girls go? Around the corner, Harv's there with this pot just stirring on the stove, right? And 6 of the hottest girls at the party are all sitting right in front of Harv. And I walk in, I'm like, what's going on? And I look in the bowl, and there's goldfish, and there's bacon, and there's lettuce, and he's stirring this up, and he just goes, chicks dig bacon, dude. It was great. So, cheers to you, Harv. I love you.
And I'm wearing my grandfather's hunting clothes. I can't walk. We're in the middle of a cow field. I said, Henry, stay back with me. God's sake, stay back with me. Because in the pen was this massive bull, this prize bull with horns that were like, they looked like they were 4 feet. And he said, Jersey, what's the problem? You have a gun. If the bull comes, you shoot the bull. What's the problem? And we looked at it, we just had so much fun. We'd stay up till 3 in the morning, play cards, and get up at 4 and go hunting. There's just so many stories for Henry. He hated bullies, he always protected the underdogs because he could not stand someone being beaten up. He stood for equality long before it was fashionable. And he stood for his family above all things. His family and his friends, that was one of his great sayings. What matters in life is who shows up and who you show for. One of the great gifts of my life was that I got to live with him for the last year and a half. We laughed every day. I'm grateful and I'm blessed for the humor that he brought. He was a remarkably kind man, and I don't think I knew it till the last 2 years. And I also did not know how wise he was.
Yeah.
He brought so much wisdom to the room in the silence of his mind. And he found his, like my father, found his God and his peace in the woods, I think. He left a mark for everyone, especially for my 4 children, because he was there. And I remember that he laughed at himself all the time. Never took himself seriously. I miss him. God bless. God peace. Rest in peace. And may we have joy in remembering who he was. Thank you.
I wanted to be a paper girl. It had to be 12. So I needed a partner. And who do? I get my brother, Henry, to sign because he was 12 years old. But the problem was, Henry was in every single sport. So he said, look, Diane, I'll make a deal with you. I said, really, what's the deal? He said, you deliver the paper 5 days a week and collect on Saturdays, so you do 6 days a week, and I'll do Sunday morning. I said, really? That's not a very good deal for me. The problem was, the newspaper on Sunday morning was really, really thick, right? But the newspapers on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays were really small, and we proceeded to go into business together. And I had to split it with him 50-50. I'm doing 6 days, he's doing 1, and I had to split it with him 50-50. He was all in, no matter what. And he always gave it his all. But it was a life lesson for us for many, many years because we laughed at it because he was always doing sports and I was always working. So that was our lives together. But it taught me a lot about my brother when we did this for 2.5 years. And he never failed. He always showed up. And that's what I always loved about him.
Sitting under a pine tree all night long in the pouring rain and freezing. My eyelashes were frozen to each other. It was the worst hunting experience of my entire life. Then Henry says, I'll tell you what, I got a joint in my pocket. 5 miles of looking like a roller coaster. We're so stoned that we keep walking. And I think I'm going in nowhere. I think I'm in the same place over and over again. Henry saved it, and he pulls out a flask. I'm like, what's a flask? Like a real flask? He pulls it out of his pocket. He goes, Joe, drink this. The thing burned the whole way going down. And I thought, I'm going to die. We miss you, Henry. We love you. It was like, Brady, and make anything happen that he could have when he had you for the weekend. So God bless Brady, everybody here, okay?
One moment specifically when I was golfing, he was like a foot from the tree, and he meant to put the golf cart in reverse and ended up flooring it straight into the freaking tree. Just hammering the tree and damn it, Henry. Love you, Dad. Miss you.
Wow, love you, miss you.
It was like my first year playing Kiwi football. Some of the parents were in the chains, and you gotta like to do the chains. So they actually threw the ball, and I was right there, instead of making a play on it, I literally just stood there and watched the ball go 2 feet from my head. And him watching the whole thing from 10 feet away screams in front of the whole crowd, Brady, get your fucking head out of your ass! And as a second grader, I just stood there with my jaw down, mortified.
Second grade.
And I'll just say that a few hours later, the coach was like, "Yeah, Henry, I can't do the chains anymore."
Literally at midnight, Henry would say, "We need to buy something." The turkeys, the lures, animal calling contraptions. Deer, who knew deer made noise? I tell you, they would come home laughing for frigging an hour. He really did have a lot of joy, and he was so much fun and brought a lot of laughter to all of us. And so each of us have our special stories for which we're all grateful.
There was a certain freedom that came with, being as sick as he was. He would not hold back to like just lash out at people. He would laugh about it afterwards, but he would just say, "I don't care anymore. Dude, I don't care." Okay? He would say, "Can I get Marlboro Lights?" He would hand them a pack of American Spirits. And Henry would turn to me and would say, like really loud, "Can you believe this inbred waiting on me? Did I say American Spirit or did I say Marlboro Lights?" It was one of those situations where it's so shocking to the other person that they don't know what happened until like 10 minutes later, like maybe what they should have said. Morbid sense of humor there that followed him that was kind of made things a little bit easier to deal with over the last couple of years.